I had a really bad childhood, and I didn't really have any emotional attachments to my mom or dad because I was just going back and forth all the time, and they were always both doing their own thing, and they both had their own separate families eventually, and I was the firstborn, so they had their other two families to take care of, and I just always felt so an outsider. I don't know. And then being transgender and transitioning, I wouldn't say it was very easy. I feel like the hardest part for me was accepting myself and not having to care about what people think. But my dad just always told me to do what I love and be myself, and that's all that matters to me. I'll always be his child. And my mom was a little more difficult because she's very religious. She still calls me her little boy, which is, I don't mind because I'm not going to force her into doing something she doesn't want. It's her life. She decides to do what she wants with it. But it would feel good to be accepted by your parents for how you are. But as long as I know they love me, my biggest support is definitely my grandmother. She's been there through my transition and everything. Before transitioning, when I was still in high school, I was very like a queer guy, very feminine, gay person, and that helped, even though I still didn't feel as comfortable, but at least I was one step closer to being myself. And it was very stressful because first you have to accept yourself and then having to think what other people will think about you, and that's when it gets harder. I didn't transition here. I'm from Tahiti, French Polynesia. That's my mom's from there. She's French. So over there in Tahiti, it's the trans community is very open in society and it's well known over there. So it was easier for me. I graduated high school here, went back to Tahiti, and when I saw my cousins that were transgender women, and I just felt like it was normal, and when I was with them, they would explain to me how they felt and things like that, and that's exactly how I felt. So I just thought at that point, I need to live my life. There aren't really many trans men in Tahiti. There are lesbians, but I don't know if, because it's not, people don't know what transgender is in Tahiti, but there's always been this men that turn into women, but they never really had a name for it back in Tahiti. It's just something that occurred for such a long time over there that they've accepted it. But being over there, and nowadays it's so much more open to society and they're more accepting. So it was definitely easier for me to transition over there than it is over here, in my opinion, just because here you have to be up to the standards of what a girl should be like, and it's very difficult, especially here in the US, because everyone's so beautiful and always doing their makeup and everything, and it's just, girls over there are more natural, pretty, but when you come here, they have all this stuff, makeup, and they have beautiful hair, and they always have everything so good, and to me it was like so difficult because I have to stay up to that standard of what a woman should look like. I want to say they make me feel complete, but when I get an injection every couple of weeks in my thigh, and it doesn't really make me feel any different. It's all in my head. You know, as long as I know I get it, I feel more of a woman because the longer I go without having it, I just think, oh well, my testosterone's coming back and it's getting stronger, and then I'm gonna start having more male features. So I just stay on top of my hormones and they make me feel good about myself.